Forgive me, I'm trying to open my broth here with one hand. So this is, let's see, I've got a whole onion that I threw in there, yellow onion that I threw in with 3 cloves of garlic, about a tablespoon of ginger in a tube. And man, I let that stuff reduce till it was like a paste. And then I added a tablespoon of paprika, smoked paprika, a tablespoon of curry powder, any type of curry powder. I mixed that up real good until it got all like pasty with the onion, garlic, ginger paste. 2 like rustic potatoes, it's like what you use for baked potatoes, and I peeled them and I chopped them up pretty good into like cubes. That's a potato right there. Hopefully it's not too hot. As you can see, you know, that's a potato, but it was 2 of them and I chopped them up pretty good. These are just, you know, chickpeas out of the can. I just drained them. And then this right here, this is a nice little secret. This is like fire roasted tomatoes. You can see right there. That's pretty cool. So drain these, throw those in after you stir these guys in with the curry powder and the other things that I said earlier that I can't remember at the moment. I had to wash my hands because I can't stand having stuff on my hand, especially when I am cooking. So I'm going to stir this up just because there's a little bit of goodies on the bottom down there. See? And the moisture from the tomatoes is letting that goodness get all over the, you know, the bland stuff, the tomatoes, the chickpeas, and crap like that. I like to do this before I add any liquid because it doesn't cook the soft stuff, if that makes sense. So right now I'm using the wet stuff, the tomatoes, to kind of add some moisture back to the pot because I try to reduce. That just makes flavor all over the place. So after I've got everything kind of happy in here, got some salt and pepper back in there. Oh man, this smells so good. Stupid good. I hear you boys, y'all be good. All right, so now that everybody's happy and covered, bam, I'm gonna take this guy from earlier, pour that in. Glug, 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 glug. Glug, 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 glug. Oh. If I had 2 hands, I would punch a hole in up here with my knife. But this is about 4 cups of chicken stock, chicken broth. I think it's broth. Yeah, it's broth. Throw it in my waistband over there. Now I'm going to kind of get all the goodies off the side here because the more stuff that's not sticking to the side, the less you got to clean it off later. And you know me, Corey, I'm all about, you know, easy cleaning and clean as you go. And if this ain't clean as you go, I don't know what is. All right. As you can see, I switched to my spatula here, and I just kind of dip it in the water. It's not water. I dip it in the wet down here, and then I'm able to get all those goodies off the side. Okay? And then I can kind of sweep along the bottom to make sure that there's nothing burning to the bottom. If you've ever made like Kraft mac and cheese, you know how easy it is to burn something if it ain't moving. So just kind of, you don't have to stir it constantly, but just kind of keep it moving, keep it agitated. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this up to a boil and then we'll keep going because you know a watch pot will not boil. So I forgot to show you, I turn that heat up high, right? Especially since I'm here moving it constantly and making sure that nothing sticks to the bottom. Now, do not turn it up to high if you're not going to sit here and hang out and, you know, stir it every once in a while, okay? You're going to turn it up to high only if you're ready to hang out for a minute or 2. Once this sucker gets up to boiling, you see how it started bubbling? Stir it around a little bit. And then after you stir it, you know it's ready to cap if you stop stirring it and that sucker keeps boiling. So I'm going to turn this back down to low, okay? And I'm going to kind of get it to calm down a little bit, because if I just go and throw this lid on right now, that sucker is going to stay too hot and it's going to burn, stick, right? Look at it. Still a little gnarly. Okay, see how it's chilled out a little bit? You got a little spot right there. I mean, you could always cheat and bring it to the side and get it to cool off. I mean, you don't have to get this thing ice cold, but you want it to stop bubbling. And that gives your burner time to cool too. So just make sure nothing sticks down there. Okay? Alright, but see how it's chilled out. It's calmed down. See, I got a little bit of boil there, but that's cool, man. So that's low. It's not even getting any hotter. I'm gonna even turn it down extra low. So I've got 2 burners versus 1 underneath this big old guy. So that'll help chill this sucker out. That definitely helps. So that's low enough for me. I'm gonna give it one more stir. One more stir. All right. Make sure that boy is low. Shorty low. And I'm gonna hit this guy for about, let's do 45 minutes. Boop. All right. All right, don't tell anybody, but I am going to, oh man, that smells good. I'm gonna stir this because 1, it ain't rice, and 2, I really don't want anything to stick to the bottom. Again, look how much that's like chilled out, right? So I'm gonna keep that heat in there. So what we're doing with this is, this lid is making sure you don't want steam, you don't want moisture to escape, because we're kind of making like a stew. And if you have a stew with no moisture in it, no wet, no liquid, it's not any good. So you want to make sure that you leave that lid on. The rest of the wet that's gone in is flavor. The tomatoes, the tomato sauce, the roasted tomatoes, that is flavor. The chicken broth that we added, that is flavor. We don't want it to boil off too much because then you don't have anything. All right, so Bill wants a grilled cheese. So I'm gonna do a grilled cheese real quick. So, all right, so I usually hit them, the outsides here, with a little bit of mayo.
I know that.
Yeah, I know. I know you know that. And that's it, man. That's it. Put the mayo away. I'm not talking about loading this sucker up. I'm just talking about enough to, you're pretty much putting your oil, not in the pan, but on the bread. So I've already got my heat set to about, you know, medium plus. Pans like this are pretty cool because actually it'll show you, they'll turn solid red when they're ready. So I just throw that bad boy down there. You can actually hear it. Then I put that cheese on the inside, like a so. Right? Boop. And that's it. I'm gonna wait 4 minutes and I'm gonna check it, only because it's coming up to heat. So what I usually do is I'll kind of keep, oh, actually, you know what? Let's do 2 minutes. So you'll have your assistant, Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes. And when she goes off, check. But another little secret is if you could smell this before the timer goes off, that means it's ready to turn. So you just flip that sucker over. Okay? All right, so my timer hasn't gone off yet, but I can smell this bad boy. Plus, I cheated and looked. Bam! That's what I'm talking about. Just flip that sucker over. All right, there's my timer. Look at that, man. These things are awesome. I grew up eating beanie weenies out of them, but they're for like soups and stews, and they're oven safe. So what I like to do is I throw them on the burner that I made the mac and cheese, or not mac and cheese, the grilled cheese on over there. But I mean, it's not too hot here. I don't want to touch it, but it's cool to kind of like heat up your little soup crocks. I've got this dude chilling out over here. That's another little trick. If you make a grilled cheese, kind of keep flipping that bad boy, and then when it's ready, when you cut it, all the cheese doesn't ooze out, but it's still warm. So that guy's getting hot and happy. We got about a minute left here. So what I like to do for the last couple of seconds is to open the lid, let all that, oh man, let all that drippy drip back inside of that. Okay, set that bad boy over there. See how this guy wasn't even boiling? Again, just making sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. I may have opened it one other time. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. All right, so everybody's kind of hanging out, getting all happy. I am going to get a fork because it's been 45 minutes. And I've got a fork here, and I'm going to check one of these potatoes because we're right at the 45-minute mark. Well, now we're at the 45-minute mark. All right. Oh, man. All right, so I got a little chickpea here as well as potato. It's getting a little bit cooler. Let's see what happens. Oh, man. Okay, so that is perfect. It does. Man, it does need some salt. I can't believe. But again, that looks like a lot, but it is kosher salt. So, like I said, you've got two big-ass potatoes in there. And they absorb a lot of that, you know, salt there. And considering that I just ate a potato, and I was like, man, this sucker needs salt. It needs salt. Because you got to remember, it looks like you're putting a lot of salt, but if you were sprinkling, you know, that salt into a, I don't know, a measuring spoon, and you kept doing that and doing that and doing that, this is a tablespoon. I've got that much seasoning of everything else in there. So season it, taste. Season it, taste. Season it, taste. Because a pinch of salt here and a pinch of salt there is not a lot of salt. Especially for multiple servings. Because that's another thing you got to remember. Because if you are hanging out and putting, you know, that much salt on a single serving of French fries, that's crazy. But this is like at least 7 or 8 servings. Okay, that's perfect. Much better. And I say that because honestly, if this was in my bowl, I would add a little bit more salt. But since it's going to everybody, they can choose to add a little bit more or not. So this is cool. So I'm gonna turn this off, throw this in a sink, and get my ladle. All right, so here we go. So look, I just took this off the burner and I can hold it in my hand. It's warm. Oh, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. And then here's the little trick you can do with your ladle. Just kind of let it like get a little bit of that juice and no goodies, since all the goodies are in there. Bam. Look at that, man. That's what I'm talking about. And since this bad boy is like almost porcelain insulated or whatever, that'll stay hot. But that's dinner, man. Okay. Easy peasy. This is good. Another little trick is once you have got everything cooked, you can let this hang out if you think you're going to get seconds. But if not, pack that ish up right away. I mean, I've got my Tupperware out, just out of frame over here, because as soon as I turn this off, I'm going to pour that in it. Because I'm going to let it hang out in the Tupperware while we're eating. And then by the time we're done eating, washing the kids, putting them to bed, then I can put it in the fridge. Because you don't want to stick something that's this hot straight into the fridge, right? I'm actually gonna put the lid on here while we're talking. So, bam, that hangs out. Turn my fan off, turn my light off. Kitchen is closed.
Can we have another?
Get out of here.